Now, earlier we teased you with a mystery about this week's Welcome To feature.
Yeah, we know where we're heading, but who is the famous thriller writer who grew up in Cambridgeshire and used her home village as inspiration for one of her novels? Well, let's say welcome to Bluntisham, where Matthew Hudson can reveal that and much more.
For most people in Cambridgeshire, Bluntisham is just one of a number of pleasant but largely unremarkable villages on the road from St Ives to Ely. But how many villages can claim to have launched a major international sport in this country, or to have been home to a world-famous author? Well, Bluntisham can claim both. It also has a good old-fashioned village shop where you can buy anything from pineapples to paintbrushes and padlocks. Owner Tony Rowell was born and bred here and can't imagine living anywhere else. His shop also sells these. No, Tony wasn't taken in by a smooth-talking ice skate salesman. For decades, when the River Ouse floods and freezes, Bluntisham has become the outdoor skating capital of the country.
I've stood on the church hill and you could have walked on people's heads on the fen. There must have been anything 2,000–3,000 people there. You know, this was during the war and in the 40s when we had some very cold winters, and it was a real country sport.
Now, the Peterborough Phantoms ice hockey team wouldn't exist without Bluntisham. The sport was introduced to Britain by a local man who saw it being played in Holland. He thought it would go down well with the skating-mad villagers, and he was right. Which brings us on to our famous author. Dorothy L. Sayers lived in this grand house and wrote some of her most famous works here. Her father, Henry, was the vicar, and the church bells, which he added to in 1910, inspired her detective novel, The Nine Tailors, named after the bells which were forged by a company called Tailors. They're taking down those bells at the moment. They'll be rehung more securely so they can once more peel out over the fens.
What we're doing now is to take them from that frame because it's become old and rotten and the headstocks are damaged, and replace them in a new steel frame lower down in the tower, which will mean we can ring them properly in the traditional English manner.
And Bluntisham has more interesting secrets hidden away. I must have driven down this stretch of road hundreds of times over the years, but until today I had no idea that behind this hedge there's the most fantastic orchard, growing a bewildering variety of fruits which taste wonderful, but which most of us have never even heard of. Eric Wallace's grandfather established the orchard. There's around 9,000 trees here. Some, like this one, have been here since 1919. The wealth of varieties of plums and apples grown here is amazing. You can buy the fruit at the farm shop, but sadly most of it will rot on the ground. Supermarkets would rather buy cheaper imports. Elsewhere, though, Bluntisham is flourishing. £750,000 is helping build a new community centre. One of those behind the scheme is local man and Anglia television news cameraman Melvin Simpson, who filmed most of this feature.
It's scheduled to be finished early in the new year. There'll be a main hall for badminton, there'll be sports changing rooms, but a main thing that we're including in the hall, as well as meeting rooms, is doctor's surgeries. So there's going to be 2 branch surgeries, one of which we could have lost and which would have gone out of the village if we hadn't included it in this project.
There may well be plenty of people who'll want to move to this charming village in the future. Matthew Hudson, Anglia News in Bluntisham, Cambridgeshire.
Not if they know Melvin lives there.
Oh, he's lovely. In tomorrow's programme, we'll be looking at the campaign to save the great English apple.